All right. Okay. Just mixed that up real quick so I could have something. So first, we're gonna go to yesterday's articles. There's quite a lot of those, and I'll try to get through these as quick as possible. Let me see. Did this go? Whoops. That's not helpful. I need to make sure this is. So, yesterday, okay. All links in the description, as usual. As usual, there we go. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I got some kind of echo going on, but I don't know what's causing that. So, I don't have time to fix it right now. House Democrats vow to oppose shutdown bill over health care funding. As we all know, they caved into that, and to really cut this short, because they opened up the government. Well, you know, the Republicans were saying, "Oh, we'll create." They didn't have a health bill on the table to replace the ACA tax credits, so they said, "Oh, don't worry, we'll do it if you just open up the government." And lo and behold, they did not keep their word, and pretty much anyone sitting over on the left is not shocked by that. So be prepared for, it's not just people who are on Medicaid, but everyone's health insurance is going to suffer from this. It's going to skyrocket. Vowed Tuesday to oppose the bill for not addressing their demand for more healthcare funding. Democrats have for weeks insisted that any measure to fund government include an extension of tax credits for the ACA plans, which were created under Joe Biden, due to expire this year. With Donald Trump's encouragement, Congress Republican leaders refused, sparking a standoff that led to the shutdown. The Senate passed the legislation on Monday evening. The House of Representatives is expected to vote on it on Wednesday afternoon. The House Rules Committee will consider the bill on Tuesday evening, setting the stage for it to come to the House floor on Wednesday. Top House Democrats. And this is going to be interesting because it puts Republicans in the position of, like, what does it say to your constituents when you literally vote against any kind of bill that will keep your health insurance intact and available? And then we have, go away. This NBC News. What Democrats say they won in 43-day government shutdown. Well, they didn't really win much of anything, except opening the government. So progressive activists and their Democratic allies in Congress who had wanted the party to fight on longer decried it as a monumental cave to an authoritarian and Donald Trump. But others in the party see a silver lining in 6-week standoff. The 8 Senate Democrats who bucked their own leadership and negotiated an end to the longest shutdown in American history, said the bipartisan deal protects federal workers who had been laid off during the shutdown, at least temporarily. So Trump isn't even keeping his word on that. Like, a bunch of people are losing their jobs, a bunch of people aren't getting back pay, a bunch of people are not getting paid at all. SNAP benefits are still not being returned. In fact, a lot of people are going to have to pay SNAP benefits back for the states that came in and said, we're going to use the emergency funding that the USDA had put in place, and took that and funded people's SNAP benefits. So Trump himself is going to try to take that money back. It was put onto people's SNAP cards. So no SNAP, no health care, no Medicaid, and everybody's health insurance could possibly skyrocket through the roof. Even if you are a private payer with no health insurance, your out-of-pocket expenses could triple. Even if you buy your own health insurance, your premiums could triple, as well as out-of-pocket expenses. Or if you have insurance through your employer, your premiums could triple, as well as out-of-pocket expenses. So more importantly, they said the grueling shutdown that is expected to end in the coming days has crystallized the battle lines in the next major political fight over health care that is sure to spill into the 2026 midterm election. It also underscored Trump's cruelty, Democratic leaders said, as the White House fought to halt food stamp payments to states during the shutdown. That was the other thing, is a lot of Democrats didn't think that Trump would be willing to hurt his own people and hurt America the way that he did with the shutdown. That's why they did it. And I'm not shocked. I absolutely I don't think Trump is interested in anyone but himself. I don't think he cares if he hurts Americans in general. He definitely doesn't care if he hurts anybody to the left of him, which isn't just Democrats or leftists. It's even Republicans that are against him, like the Lincoln Project. He doesn't. I don't think he even cares if he hurts his own voter base and constituents. I don't think he cares. I think he only cares about himself. While emotions are raw and finger pointing is rampant in the wake of the deal, the Democratic Party was unified during most of record shutdown. That's small wins among one of the wins I can say is that now they're sworn in that the woman from I forget where they've sworn her in, and she will be the final vote needed to release the Epstein files, and Trump is really panicking about that. So one of the small wins. The agreement includes a minibus of 3 appropriations bills, which will fund some parts of the government through next fall. The rest of the government will be funded through January 3rd. That's the other thing with the $8 trillion tax credits to the top 1%, which is actually a very small amount of people. And definitely Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, some people who own some media companies are getting $8 trillion in tax cuts. And the government doesn't know how to fund it, and there's just not enough money to fund the government, especially with the amazing amount of money that Trump wants to spend on ICE, Homeland Security, and the DOJ, so he could do his mass deportations. So, but there's no guarantee on healthcare. So we could all be screwed on that. Who knows? So, Huffpost, House Republicans slam self-dealing Senate Republican Payday and funding bill. So this is really interesting. The Republicans snuck into a bill. I'm trying to see if they it says conservative House Republicans slammed a multi-million-dollar giveaway to 8 GOP senators tucked into legislation ending the government shutdown on Tuesday night, but said they had no choice but to move the bill forward. So, given that they wrote into a bill that the moment the government opens, that they will get a multi-billion-dollar just cash grab, bunch of Republicans, not nice of them. Representative Austin Scott, Republican of Georgia, read parts of the provision from the dais in seeming disbelief that senators would write a bill that so directly rewards themselves. People were like, the people who wrote it were hoping nobody saw it, but self-serving, self-dealing. Yeah, it is very self-serving, self-dealing. So even people within the Republican Party are really kind of pissed off and amazed by this. What was this? Okay.
Taken the American people hostage, from cutting off food aid to hungry families and vets and seniors and kids, to manufacturing flight cancellations, to cutting off home heating aid, while he builds a billion-dollar ballroom with gold-plated toilets. Therefore, I must vote no.
Okay, so they're not really going to talk about this, but yeah, they put they opened up the government, then several Republicans would just get like this huge money handout. Isn't that awesome? Yeah, stuff. Okay, CNN. White House weighs stepped up domestic travel and speeches to improve Trump's standing on the economy. So one of the reasons why they wanted to step up domestic travel was because they wanted Trump to look good on economic issues, because as far as the economy goes, we are fucked, like with a capital F. And the American currency is depreciating in value. Our spending is through the roof. Our national debt is super crazy high. I think it's like an all-time high in all of world history. Our jobs is negative. Like the last we heard, it was negative 15%. But the guy who reported the truth got fired. So we don't know what the actual truth behind our economy is anymore, because the people who were reporting what our economy actually was got fired and replaced with loyalist yes men that will tell Trump what he wants to hear and not what the actual truth is. So this is one of the reasons why they put pressure on wanting to reopen the flights, is because, well, that's a great PR stunt, you know, and it makes the economy look good. But I'd be interested in how many people are actually able to afford a flight right now, because no, the economy is not good. Inflation is also rising even higher. There are countries that are just outright saying they don't want to work with us at all anymore. The UK is like, they've completely shut America off. No communication. That predominantly has to do with what the United States has been doing in Venezuela. Arrival of U.S. aircraft carrier fuels Venezuelan fears of attack. So I might have another article about this, but so we know for a fact that these boats that they blew up were not drug smuggling boats. There's no way that they could even make it to the United States. There have been survivors that have been given hush money, and they're fishermen, so it's looking pretty bad. And you know the Venezuelan president asked over and over again, pretty please with sugar on top, can you stop blowing these boats up? And now we're at 76 people killed, innocent civilians. I wrote about this on my Facebook, so I kind of want to read what I wrote there, because this is just, I think what I wrote here was pretty much sums it up. And so I said, the U.S. blew up fishing boats that we know are fishing boats because the type of boats they were absolutely not capable of even coming near reaching the U.S. There have been several survivors and hush money paid out to them by the U.S. government. And yes, we know for a fact they are not drug smuggling boats. They are fishing boats. So the U.S. kills innocent civilians of another country we have no jurisdiction over and no proof of why we even did it, on why we say we did it. The country begged us to pretty please with sugar on top, stop. We did it again and again anyways, committing an international war crime, which the president of Venezuela called the U.S. and Trump out for, rightfully so. Now this country has to try and defend itself against the largest military might in the world after doing absolutely nothing wrong and no way of winning the fight they didn't even start. Do you have pride in your American country? That's a question. I mean, this isn't about the naughty stuff the U.S. has done in the past anymore. They want us to have pride for being American despite slavery, the killing of indigenous people, and many other things. They are not making this easy, as they are literally bombing and killing innocent people and attacking a smaller country because they feel like it. Why are we supposed to have pride for that? What exactly is virtuous about killing innocent people and attacking a country smaller than us because Trump, Pete Hegseth, and J.D. Vance feel like it? We are missing some values we used to teach in U.S. society from my grandparents' generation here, who are literally like 100 years old. We used to traditionally teach people that being a narcissist, self-absorbed, vain, jealous, envious, a bully, a greedy person were all traits that were not virtuous at all. In fact, people who were born in the 1920s saw these kinds of aspects in people as those who lacked manners and were seen as usually crude and disrespectful towards others because they were uneducated and uncivilized. I am just mentioning that because my grandparents actually lived back then and actually lived the so-called quote-unquote traditional lifestyle, and what this far-right moving is calling quote-unquote traditional doesn't seem to actually be traditional. It just seems like some buzz phrase they use to rationalize being cruel, crazy, and stupid. I think that pretty much sums that one up. And another one of these articles, I haven't, with the flight cancellations, I said, well, look at that. All the bluster about how people won't be able to travel for the holidays, all because us nasty leftists wanted to make sure people had access to health care. Well, the Democrats said, fine, take away health care for those who have ACA, Obamacare, or Medicaid, and skyrocketing the cost of health care for those who are private payers, have their own health care healthcare insurance policy or through their employer by 3 times, including premiums and out-of-pocket expenses. Oh, looky here. The planes and flights are still being canceled, and people can't travel for the holidays anyway. And Trump has explicitly ordered not to give anyone but his precious DHS, ICE, DOJ, and military any kind of pay. Everyone else, no back pay, no pay. Some may not have a job. He's also ordered to have all emergency-funded SNAP payments taken back. So anyone who received those from their state, Trump is the only one trying to take that money back from your bank account without your permission and ignoring a court order. And guess what? The Republicans still don't have any kind of health plan on the table and are still struggling on how they are going to pay for their $8 trillion tax cuts to the top 1%. But let's face it, this is a tax cut for some people who own media, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Peter Thiel, and Jeff Bezos, and that's about it. Good job, America. We really won that jackpot, didn't we? And now we are all getting free lobotomy brain surgeries. We are all just something else. Real winners here. And then there's another article about another Kennedy coming into office. I didn't read too much about it. It's about some guy named Jack Schlossberg. I said, I'm not really sure I personally want to see any more Kennedys up there on Capitol Hill anymore. That name just does not carry the merit that it once did. On top of that, there have been so many of them at this point. Trying to say there is not some kind of nepotism going on just seems insulting to our intelligence. And I'm going to get to this article too. Say goodbye to Pennies. Not sure it's a good idea to do that at this time, considering the US dollar is currently depreciating in value, but regardless, it's happening. It's happening with this sort of shoot first, ask questions later regime. I seriously do not know or understand why anyone would support Trump and his regime at this point unless they want to destroy America and democracy. Yeah, so I think that pretty much sums that up. Back to this. So, I pretty much covered this one. So we've got this. That is so nice how somebody's thing is going now. I hope that car alarm stops. That's annoying. Okay, so Associated Newsom tells AP the 8 senators who struck the shutdown deal aren't alarmed enough about Trump. Let's hear what Newsom has to say. I'm trying to make this quick because there's seriously a lot of articles.
Than it appears the 8 members of my party are in the United States Senate. I'm much more alarmed about the future of our country and the world we're trying to build than they are. And that's why I'm here. Not just identifying a problem, but iterating and trying to solve it. That's what my Prop 50 represented. That's what our social media is representing. That's what our 45 lawsuits against the Trump administration are representing. That's what our extension of the cap and trade, and honestly, one of the reasons we got it done this year, represents a positive alternative vision and an exercise of leadership in the absence of leadership, and trying to assert ourselves as a stable and reliable partner on the world stage on one of the most important challenges of our time. Simultaneous crisis, democracy back home, and climate crisis globally. The hyperbolic nature of Trump and those his acolytes about Sleepy Joe, and here's the President of the United States falling asleep at the Resolute desk. He's clearly not the same Trump. And I don't say that lightly. I say that with intimate appreciation. I mean, spent 90 minutes with him in the Oval Office a few months ago, and phone calls, and I worked with him in his first administration. He's a different person. And I think he's excused. I think we grade him on the curve in ways we didn't the prior presidents. So I am challenging, again, that notion, sort of a lazy punditry, an unwillingness to, I think, call balls and strikes, because we tend to excuse. It connects to the social media.
I'm shocked that people are shocked to find out that Donald Trump is as cruel as he is. I mean, it's pretty plain to me. He's a narcissist. I don't think he cares about the people he hurts. That's shocking to me. That's news to people. That's news to a lot of Democrats. And then we got this one. NBC News. DHS takes credit for crime being down in Chicago. Data shows that was happening before it even arrived. So, I'm not going to read through that. That's pretty self-explanatory, but if you want to read through this article, it is down below. Like I said, I'm trying to get through this as fast as I can. There's seriously a shit ton of fucking articles. We have this one. This is back to the flight cancellations. So even after the government reopened, there's still flight shutdowns. So we have this one, which is more Americans are unhappy with the way Trump is managing the government. AP Nork bullshit. So I want to see what these people have to say.
I'll be honest, when I first heard that it could happen, I'm like, there's no way they're going to let that happen. They might play games with other things. They're not going to play games with people's food going into the cold, going into holiday season coming up. They're not going to use that. But they did. We should be slammed right now. But I mean, you can see we're not. Sales not being there affects everybody's wages, affects everybody's hours. And let's face the facts too. The people that should be here buying the product, they're not buying the product, so they're going without the product. They're going without meals.
There's a ripple effect to all this, right? So our sales obviously 8 to 10% down from last month. They're going down, and we see that decline.
This is an aspect of how SNAP and like subsidies to help people get fed actually affect the entire food market economy. It affects businesses and stuff, and then there's even businesses, warehouses and stuff like that get food that get subsidies from it as well. And that's all impacted. It's just like he said, people are buying less and they're going without meals. Well, that affects people's hours, it affects their pay, it affects how many people they can employ. So this has a ripple effect that is very, very, very damaging to the economy as a whole. Republicans, 68% said they approve. According to the survey, only about 2/3 of Republicans, 68%, said they approved Trump's government management, down from 81% in March. Independents' approval dropped from 38 to 25%. His approval rating is in the trash. So they say. There's still a lot of like MAGA people out there. I think it's like I said, at this point, if you're still MAGA, it's kind of like I imagine you want to destroy America and you hate democracy. Like I don't know how you could at this point. And I think there are people that do, who don't think that those things are happening, that they literally just believe that like our economy is just going really, really great. They basically live in like a fantasy bubble brought on by a media echo chamber, like a little media bubble. And I mean it's absolutely kind of like, I see why they call it like I've been calling it dogmatic for years. I'm calling it dogmatic for years because you could literally put facts down in front of these people, like hard, solid facts and reality, And I mean, like, you could show them a puppy and say, like, well, no, like a cat. You put a cat in front of them and say, look, here's a tabby cat. And it will literally be a tabby cat, and they will say, no, that's a caterpillar. And you're just kind of looking at them like, what the fuck is going on? They literally will believe it's a caterpillar. There are MAGAs that are like that. Yeah. So this is about, like, I don't know who this guy is. I'm not sure I need to be that interested in him. What's really interesting is when I posted this on Facebook, I immediately had bots running to be like, oh, this guy is so great. I'm really glad that he's kicking off his career. And somebody else even liked it. And the person who liked it was even a bot. Like, neither one of them are on my friends list. It was very strange. But, so why do I bring up Kennedy? During his 1961 inaugural address, John F. Kennedy famously implored a new generation of Americans to serve the country. Almost 64 years later, Jack Schlossberg, his only grandson, is now heeding the call of generational change from Democratic voters as the party's leaders continue to cling to the office well into their 70s. Now, okay, so he's related to Kennedy. I don't know much about him. I would have to look into his policies and whatnot, but this thing right here, this little creature, as well as a few other Kennedys, have really given the Kennedys a really bad name. And at this point, like, we've had like 50 billion different Kennedys at Capitol Hill, and it's like, why on, like, it's getting weird. It's why so many Kennedys. It's getting strange. And I'm all for trying to get more left wing, like Democratic socialists in office. I would like to see universal health care. I would like to see safe supply harm reduction. I would like to see a better SSA that handles retirement and disability more fairly and more accurately than having a 30%. Like, actually, I think the denial rate for disability is even lower than 30% now. It's even lower than that. You got people with physical disabilities, like myself. I can barely keep up with having you doing this YouTube channel, which is just sitting here talking to a camera and a microphone. And this idea I'm going to get some kind of office job. Okay. So, and I don't know if this guy's gonna be that. It's just more corporate Democrat. But I mean, if he's the best candidate in the area he's running in, great. But hopefully we can actually start getting, like, people who want to see actual, like, change for socialism. Make sure companies are giving us adequate time off. Make sure that basic needs can be met, and make sure that, like, when somebody can't work through no fault of their own, that we have an adequate program there to take care of them instead of just good luck. Then we have this Los Angeles Times Justice Department to investigate UC Berkeley after protesters tried to disrupt Turning Point USA campus event. This is a 7-minute read, and this is from one of yesterday's. So let's see. So this person says, I see several issues of serious concern regarding campus and local security and Antifa's ability to operate with impunity in California. This Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights at U.S. Department of Justice posted on X. It doesn't continue on with the quote. That's it. That's all we're going to quote. The event was Turning Point USA's first in California since Kirk, the group's founder, was shot. It was also the final stop on the group's American comeback tour. As Kirk's killing has intensified concerns about how colleges balance free speech and safety in an era of rising political intolerance and violence, Turning Point seized on the Berkeley protests to present the college as a case study of illiberal leftist extremism. UC Berkeley currently looks like a war zone. This person posted on X. Why are we using X as a source, a citation? I guess if some journalist that's an offshoot of Turning Point USA posted this, I would not say that a quote-unquote journalist from Turning Point USA, I would not, the posting on X, I would not consider that to be a reliable source. I would not just take their word that it's a war zone. I would want evidence. It then posted a stream of videos of protesters jostling metal barricades, a woman hurriedly herding two young women past a screaming crowd, and a protester pointing to his neck, a reference to, you don't know that, to the part of Kirk's body where it's shot. Well, you don't know that, and that's not an act of violence. It's just, trying to be obscene and be a dick to people you don't like. Freedom of speech does not equal freedom from consequences. Right. So, supposedly, the spokesperson for UC Berkeley initially downplayed the conflict that occurred as about 150 protesters gathered outside the event. The edge camps, about 900 people attended the Turning Point event, and 4 people were arrested. At this point, we are aware of a single incident of violence between 2 individuals who fought with each other, and that was the arrest made by the city that happened not on the campus, but on the streets. See, that's what I mean. Like, I guarantee you it's not war-torn. I guarantee you whoever was from this Turning Point USA, this is like their strategy. I'm running out of time. I need to hurry up. U.S. meant to strike final circulating penny on Wednesday, November 12th. Say goodbye to pennies. They're going away. Good luck on to us on that. I don't know what else to say on that. I don't know how that's going to affect things. It'll be interesting. It'll be fascinating. Come on. There we go. Alright, so now we are back on this. Okay, so this is today's articles. The White House knows it needs to act on healthcare affordability. Here's what's on the table. The moment I see this fucking Oz guy, this is not good. He's ran multiple scams in his life, and he's also got like stakes in this fake Medicaid, Medicare type thing that preys on elderly people and is mostly just a scam. And they've talked about making his thing the go-to healthcare thing, which people, it's for profit, and basically he'll get subsidies from the government, and then people will have to pay a for-profit health insurance company, and Amendment Oz will basically make shit tons of money off of the American people, because we fucked over that looks like that's exactly what this is talking about. Centers for Medicaid Medicare Services Administration Amendment Oz said Monday he spent a good part of the weekend with the White House working on a plan to replace ACA subsidies with a new policy. We have lots of great ideas, but I don't want to show our cards, as the president often says. Why would I telegraph to you what we are going to do? I'm not really out of time, sadly. Ohio town rallies around a man who faces deportation in Laos for 40 years in the United States. We have White House says key economic reports. Sorry, I have to do this. I am out of time. White House says key economic reports may not be released. We also have House Republicans push to repeal Senate litigation provision in funding measure. And we have the 50-year mortgage thing. Don't be fooled by that. This actually is the difference between paying, like, let's say $500,000 versus like $500 million by putting this 50-year mortgage thing in place. There's a lot out there. I would suggest doing research. Read the Time article. I can't do it right now. I'm out of time. Low income Americans are near recession, putting the rest of the economy at risk. I'd really recommend reading this. I know it's very capitalist minded, but our economy is in serious trouble. You should definitely read this. It's a Yahoo Finance article. It is in the description. And then CBS, what will companies do without pennies? We asked McDonald's, Kroger, and more. Well, they're probably going to round up so they can make more money, and they're probably going to shortchange you. Actually, it says that right here in the article. They're going to shortchange people so they can make more money, and round up so they can make more money. So everything's about to get more expensive because they got rid of pennies. Yay. Yeah, I'm seriously out of time. So I can't. I have to end it. Time is up. Let's see if I can mix something real quick for an outro. Let's see. Let's do... We're going to do that. You're going to do that. And we're going to see what this sounds like. So, share, sorry I wasn't able to go through all of them. There's just way too many articles, and I was not able to. And I am out of time. I got to go. I was hoping I could at least get through today's. But, I mean, we went through a good amount of yesterday's. I am out of time. So, I'll leave you with this song. I have no idea what to call it. I just mixed it, and it's going to be different than the one that I opened with. All right. So share, subscribe, comment, all that. Sorry. Hopefully tomorrow I'll get back on schedule with doing these live streams. And have more articles and actually be able to go through them. Yeah, it's easy to fall behind being disabled, and it really is. So I'll leave you with this song I just mixed right off the cusp. See how this turned out. on earth happened? Oh, I know what happened. Hold on. I'm sorry. Maybe it will be the same song. We'll see. I forgot. It's demo.